Hello, lovelies. I am back and I am excited for today's discussion because it involves reading, one of my favorite things. And specifically, why reading memoir helps you write your own. Why reading other people's stories can help you become a better writer and get yours out on the page. Now, let me tell you a little ditty about Danielle. I I am a treasure hunter, so I always end up at Goodwills and thrift stores. And I recently decided I need more memoirs in my life. Now, I like Amazon and everything, but I don't love always buying my books there because I like to really find those interesting ones that people have maybe discarded. I like to get a broad perspective. I don't just like to buy the new ones that just came out. I don't just like to read the hot ones that everyone is reading. I sometimes go against the grain here and I will like refuse to read books that that everyone's reading. For many years, I just can't do it. So, like Untamed, I know it's amazing. I just can't read it yet. I don't know why. I can't bring myself to do it. There's too many other ones on my list anyway, and I have about 14 unfinished books at this point on my nightstand. So, anyway, so I just recently went to Goodwill and I spent $45 and I bought myself 28 new books, and I have been like in like Christmas La La Land. This is like all the holidays of my birthday wrapped up in one. I can't wait to get to them. And I'm a little scared because once I do, all of life will stop because I just love reading that much. So let's get back to the video. That was my little tangent. The more memoir you read, the more lessons you're going to learn. It's just inevitable. Of course, reading in itself is a way for us to learn, but you're not only going to learn about that story, those people, and maybe different styles of writing and all that, but you learn about yourself and you learn about how you perceive these things. And the more stories you read, the more your mind expands. And that is why I especially love reading memoirs over fiction, because for me, understanding and knowing that these are true stories that people actually suffered through really draws me in. Fiction I enjoy, but it doesn't do a lot for that kind of brain power thing that I get from memoir. It doesn't expand me as far. So here's a couple, hopefully very compelling reasons for you to start your own memoir reading habit or pick it up a notch while you're writing. I know that sounds crazy because you're dedicating time and energy and effort to your writing, but I really want you to also continue reading every day. And even if you cycle through books and you don't read one all the way through, I don't care. That's totally fine. I've recommended some books on writing memoir, and I've also discussed some memoirs that I've read either recently or that have an applicable passage that I want you to see as far as, our writing prompts that kind of give an example of something. But every single book that I read, I'm like taking snippets from. So the more I read, the more I'm going to be able to teach you, learn myself, and understand things in a broader sense. So number one, all of these books are written by people all over the world. So reading them, you're allowing yourself to travel to different corners of the earth that you may never visit yourself. And in a pandemic, you can do this from your living room. You don't have to go anywhere. You also expand your own writing knowledge base, your own skill level, your own skill set. Instead of sitting there reading textbooks, which you definitely can, you see this in action. You see that these books have employed these different techniques and tricks, and you're able to kind of understand what works and what doesn't and where. And on that note, when you're reading and you're really not clicking with something and you're just like, I don't like this person's writing style, there's something about the way they describe that I don't like, it gives you an idea of what you don't like and what doesn't work for you, which is probably going to translate into something that your readers won't like and won't work for them as well. So you get to see that good and the bad, things that inspire you and things that turn you off, things that remind you why you write and why you're spending the time on this, and things that make you go, no, thank you. I pass on that. I don't like that technique. If you hadn't read that, would you know that you don't like it? So think about that. It actually reading can stimulate your mind in a way and help decompress it from the day that allows you to get kind of out of your head. And when we talk about writer's block, remember we talked about writer's block? You're kind of in your head and you're like, oh my gosh, I got to write this thing and I just like can't get through it, and you're trying to like power through it. Reading can give you that break. Just step out of your own reality. Step into someone else's. You may read something that inspires you and takes you to a different place in your own book. And win-win. There you go. So it helps you get out of that headspace and into more of a feeling and connecting space. It also improves your vocabulary. I don't know about you, but I don't have any real deep need or desire to read dictionaries from front to back. I love words. I love learning about words and using new words, but I don't love that I can't get a context lesson in a dictionary. So you get that contextual lesson in books, and that is what I think makes it so fun to learn new words. I will literally see a word and go look it up and then try to apply that back to what I just read so that I understand, okay, this is a different way for me to say this instead of saying the same old darn thing the same old way every single time I write it. So to that point, it makes your writing stronger and it helps you understand where your weaknesses are, so you can, if needed, go off and try to improve those particular skills. It gives you really great exposure to how people use language and how you can portray a message in so many different ways. You also may see in yourself where you have these repetitive or habitual little writing quirks. As an editor, I see these all the time, for example, and I know I have them too, not innocent here. Many writers will start a paragraph with the same word or a sentence with the same word, like so or and or because or what, those types of little quirks that you don't really realize you're doing. There's also something that can happen when you write in a very similar style throughout your entire book where your sentences start to feel very monotonous. Because I did this, comma, fill in the blank. And then because I did that, comma, fill in the blank. It's almost like you start out with this phrase and then you fill it in. Phrase and complete it. Incomplete phrase, complete it. In writing in that pattern is, like I said, can become very monotonous for your readers. So when you're writing, you can see different ways to structure your sentences and structure your paragraphs and structure your stories. So it really exposes you to all of these different styles and techniques and tricks that I've been jabbering on and on about for the last 5 minutes. So another really, really great benefit to reading more, especially memoir, is it expands your comprehension abilities. And what I love about this benefit is that when you're writing about a topic that might be super near and dear to you, let's just say you're kind of an expert in what you went through because you had to go through this whole healing journey to really piece yourself back together. Your readers may not be as adept in that particular topic. They may need you to start at the beginning and teach them a little bit by way of your story and maybe a bit of a further or more plain explanation. You're able to see this in other books and you're able to comprehend what this author is doing with complex subjects and complex topics. They may break them down a different way. They may literally use words that say, I'm going to break this down for you because this one is a big tricky one, whatever. So you're able to see how your readers might comprehend your work via the ways that you as a reader comprehend other books. It also gives you courage to try new things and improve your skills and learn how to do things a little bit differently and have that bit of an encouragement to push your limits. Like, I see these other authors doing it, these other authors that I respect and that I enjoy reading, so I'm going to try it too. Give it a shot, give it a whirl, see how it works for you. And again, kind of how I've been saying this whole time, it really puts you in the reader's shoes, which is a great space for you to really get comfortable with so that you can take that to your own book. The reader's shoes is really where I live as an editor and as a book coach. If you are writing a book for no one but yourself, you don't have to care about the readers, but I'm going to bet that you care about your readers. So thinking about them is an extremely big piece of your writing. And when I see authors who don't think about their readers, it comes across pretty plainly that they're just writing for their own benefit. So this is a huge mind shift. And if you don't do a lot of reading, and there's no judgment here, if you don't do a lot of reading, you don't. Some people don't love to read, but some people, can't get enough. Reading more will help you feel comfortable in that space so you understand, what do I need as a reader? What do I expect as a reader? What didn't I like as a reader? What do I love as a reader? And what you enjoy and what you don't enjoy. When you put that into your book, because you're attracting those readers to you with your story and your style, they're going to enjoy or dislike the same things or similar things. So understanding yourself is allowing you to understand your readers even more. And last but not least, it really gives you an idea of how other authors have enjoyed writing their books. You see this sense of joy, this elation, this bliss come across in pages, even on stories that are hard to tell, hard to share, hard to talk about. It's so satisfying as a writer to put down a story that you're proud of. So in reading that from the reader's perspective, you can tell that writer loved writing that. They enjoyed it. You can feel that enjoyment. You can feel that bliss. It is so cool to hone in on things like that in a book that you're reading, because you can then take that energy and try to kind of put that hat on, put that mindset on. Like, if I was writing something I really enjoyed, how would it sound? It gives you that ability to translate the emotion that you felt as a reader into your own writing so that your readers also enjoy it as much as you enjoyed writing it. So, just a fun little video to inspire you to read more. And not only do I recommend that you read some books on writing, but I want you to read books just read memoirs, just read them. You don't necessarily have to read similar ones, but that also would be a very useful tool in your writing so you can see what's out there, how to differentiate yourself, what they say about similar topics so that you understand how your book is different. That's going to be a very smart approach anyway if you are looking to traditionally publish, because you're going to need to understand your competition pretty well. So that may be something that you get a jump start on now. You could also read memoir just about anything. Just pick up a book. Just start reading. So that's my message for today, to encourage you to continue writing. I also want you to read and maybe ratchet that up a notch, a couple notches or two, and make that part of your daily routine. So I will be back tomorrow with another fun video for you.